systems abbreviation, and business units. The objective of a metadata initiative is to build a framework for accurately capturing, sharing, distributing, securing, and leveraging your company's data and maintaining it in an enterprise repository. Metadata administration efforts also provide awareness throughout your organization as to how data and processes across all business units support the organizational objectives. Developing a metadata tool from scratch is never recommended, so we won't discuss the criteria for buying versus building. The question, however, is whether or not your organization needs a metadata tool at all. Yes, a metadata tool plays a significant role in a successful data warehouse implementation, which we will discuss next, but is not the only way that your organization can document data elements within a consolidated data repository. In fact, if the data isn't too large or too complex, your metadata could be kept in a spreadsheet, a document, or another systems repository. Either way, it is strongly suggested that you develop a metadata strategy or plan on how information will be labeled or documented. This plan will eventually evolve over time as your organization becomes more knowledge-focused. If you are a large organization, your metadata strategy is one, if not the most important strategic initiatives. There are three major decisions when developing an enterprise-wide metadata strategy. They are the definition of a common meta model, which means common terms, taxonomy, and quality, the configuration of products which will be used to acquire, manage, and distribute metadata, and defining and reinforcing a methodology for the use and maintenance of the above. Before you get started, the following managerial steps must be taken to ensure a successful implementation. You must establish data owners, custodians, responsible for syntactical value of data, and users. Formalize data stewardship committee, responsible for consistency and data integrity from business units. Define corporate data and process standards. Define edit philosophy and user education. The metadata lifecycle model outlines 10 steps covering 4 stages necessary for developing a successful metadata strategy. The 4 stages include requirement assessment content analysis, system requirement specification, metadata system, service and evaluation. The 10 steps include acquisition of metadata base needs, review of relevant metadata standards and projects, investigation of deep metadata needs, metadata scheme and strategy, preparation of the metadata requirement specification, evaluation of metadata systems, preparation of best practice guidance, development of the metadata system, maintenance of metadata service, and evaluation of metadata performance. There are pros and cons to implementing a metadata solution. You would want a metadata tool if your data requests are unique every time, if you are looking to save time per search, if business needs require analysis of data from multiple data sources, or if you are looking to leverage intellectual infrastructure elements. The cons of metadata implementation is it is extremely expensive, the hardware, software, and administrative costs plus training. It is difficult to implement and justify data, and it creates uncomfortable change among users, so there's a low user buy-in. Most importantly, when implementing a metadata solution, make sure the data you are consolidating is high quality, meaning clean and consistent. Good metadata establishes knowledge across the entire organization. The data warehouse is the main repository of an organization's historical data. When set up properly, data warehouses contain raw data that can be converted into business intelligence and aids in decision making. Transaction processing allows multiple individual operations on a database to be linked together automatically as a single, indivisible transaction. Data warehousing enables your organization to perform advanced queries and reporting outside of the transaction processing system. This ensures that the system that records transactions doesn't get overloaded by queries. There are several objectives the implementation of data warehouses fulfills: to simplify the technical aspects of database technology and to write and maintain queries and reports, to perform server or disk-bound requests that require querying and reporting, to query and report data from multiple transaction processing systems, to use data models or server technologies to speed up querying and reporting, to provide query and reporting capabilities while limiting access to the transaction processing system, to provide customers with access to data from a vast amount of transactions each day delivered through management reports, scorecards, and dashboards, to provide a repository of cleaned up data without having to change the transaction processing systems, and to provide a repository or a snapshot of data to archive as was information. Needless to say, data warehousing is a powerful tool with great implications for a large or growing business with considerable aggregation and time analysis needs. However, there are also reasons that data warehouse implementation may not be the right solution for your organization. Some of these reasons are: stored historical data has limited value in many organizations. Data warehousing systems can complement business processes. Reporting needs are simple, and there is not a requirement for end-user ad hoc reporting. There is a learning curve that may not be suitable for time restraints or budget. There is not a clearly determined process or guideline for adding data and data sources to a warehouse. This can quickly saturate your warehouse with bad or useless data. Data warehousing requires a great deal of maintenance, especially as data sources are added. And the cost to capture, clean, and load data in a special format may be out of budget. Lastly, who will be responsible for implementing your data warehouse solution is a major element an organization must consider prior to implementation. The following roles and responsibilities are typical for a data warehouse project. Project manager, responsible for overseeing the activities and overall success of the project. A database administrator, responsible for database administration and often planning and executing backup recovery and performance optimization. Technical architects, responsible for developing and overseeing the technical architecture of the data warehouse, from the back-end hardware, software, to the client desktop configuration. An ETL developer, responsible for planning, developing, and deploying the extraction, transformation, and loading routine for the data warehouse. Front-end developer, responsible for developing the front end, whether it's client-server or over the web. OLAP developer, responsible for the development of OLAP cubes. End-user trainer, responsible for training end users who will be utilizing the system. Data modeler, responsible for taking the enterprise data structure and modeling it into a schema suitable for analysis. And quality assurance team, responsible for data integrity and accuracy. I hope you found this seminar to be informative. Hopefully now you understand how critical it is to choose the right business intelligence tool. Now maybe you understand the proper steps to take in selecting the right tools, and now you have a better understanding of the different types of business intelligence tools out there. I encourage you to listen to some of our other performance management seminars so you can get a better understanding of how lifecycle performance management can transform your organization to a high-performing organization. Thank you very much.